All right, man, we about to get into this H-1B visa debate. There's a lot of hoopla going on about this. Let's see what they're talking about. I have my opinions, but we can get into that throughout the video. So let's get this started.
Well, yesterday, you guys know we had quite a few discussions on the debate that's raging online right now about H-1B visas. And Elon Musk, Vivek Ramaswamy, coming out saying, hey, we need this. Our country needs this. Our companies need this. We need this to have this technological advantage over China and other countries. And other people saying, I'm not so sure. A lot of those H-1B visas are for coding, and they're sort of the grunt work of the tech industry. And there's a lot of Americans who would like those jobs, and we should be working on training them instead of replacing them with foreign workers who presumably will do it for cheaper. So
Yeah, that's the one part of the H-1B visa that I don't agree with. Like, if there's no way to offer an American citizen similar opportunities for cheaper labor. Like, of course, by doing that, offering a foreign person um, more opportunities because you can pay them less than an American citizen. Like, of course, you're going to box out the Americans. So, is that really fair? I don't think so. I think the pay gap should be risen. You shouldn't be able to pay H-1 visa participants or recipients. I'm sorry, a cheaper rate, because that's always going to incentivize corporations to go for H-1B visa recipients for certain opportunities. Like, there's nothing that the American citizen has an advantage on that situation.
that's the debate that's raging. And in the midst of that, someone has found a quote from Donald Trump where he says he backs H-1B visas. Now, that would be contradictory to what he has said in the past. We'll have to get to the bottom of that. But here's what he said.
This is why politicians need to explain their outlooks, their views more in detail, right? Because knowing that Trump ran on a America First type of campaign platform, um, his supporters are going to read this and be like, "Wait a minute, what happened to America First?" So it comes off contradictory, but the gray areas need to be explained better for sure. Because I'm pretty sure. I mean, Trump is a businessman. I'm pretty sure he takes advantage of H-1B where he possibly can. Like, that's just going to naturally happen.
On this, he said, the New York Post reported on Saturday, he said, I've always liked the visas. I've always been in favor of the visas. That's why we have them. I have many H-1B visas on my properties. I've been a
I'm sure
believer
you
in
do.
H-1B.
I'm sure you
I've
do.
used it many times. It's a great program.
This is I think, as we talked about yesterday, such an important debate. It's happening entirely among Republicans
Yes.
and within Trump world. And obviously, what he is talking about here is the fact that, he's obviously defending the program. But what I also think is sort of interesting is that he put into place in his first term a lot of restrictions
Yes,
that protected the program, that reformed the program. And of course, one of the first things Joe Biden did, including opening the border wide open to let lots and lots of unskilled labor into the country that we have no control over, also removed
Hey,
a lot of.
we need to delineate between unskilled labor and skilled labor, because a lot of the stuff that I'm seeing be deemed as unskilled labor to me actually requires a skill. Like, anything agriculture related, building a house, construction, anything like that. I don't know how to do any of that. So clearly, you have to have some type of skills to be able to uh, function or bring some type of value to those industries in order to even get those types of opportunities. So, what is unskilled labor? Like, I need people to define that when we start categorizing types of labor.
Reforms to the H-1B visa program so that it was open to widespread abuse.
And in fact, that's what Stephen Miller tweeted back in 2023, talking about the first Trump term and his position on H-1B visas. He said Biden axed Trump admin H-1B reforms, which eliminated its use for cheap labor, raised wages to stop displacement, outlawed substitution, and replaced H-1B lotteries with high-paying offers, which precluded substitutions.
See, like I would agree with this. I mean, I would agree with raising the wage for H-1B visa recipients because, of course, institutions, companies are always going to go for the cheap labor. I mean, that's just common sense from a business perspective. But until there's reform, then you can always expect corporations to abuse uh, this. And yeah, this naturally displaces American citizens, right? Like if I can get the same skill set at a cheaper rate, why wouldn't I go for that? Right or wrong, ethically at least. Um, it makes a lot of sense. So if we want that to stop, then we need to fix that piece of it specifically. That's just me though.
Regs were scrapped, and now big tech is replacing Americans. So Trump weighs in yesterday suggesting he supports H-1B visas. Now, in the past, he has looked for reforms to H-1B visas. On the surface, this issue, I don't think, has as deep a divide on the right as one might initially perceive. Meaning, I think a lot of people on the right, including obviously Donald Trump and then Elon Musk, support the idea of bringing in whatever percentage it may be, 0.01%, whatever the number is, of highly, highly skilled people from across the world. The idea of bring your best. But the program can't be abused to box
this is why I believe in a
workers
balanced
out. That's
approach.
been the perspective in the past of Donald Trump. And I suspect it will be the position of Donald Trump
too.
in the
You can
future.
only hope.
But the debate got deeper and it got more contentious on the cultural level. And for example, that's where I took some exception to what I thought Vivek Ramaswamy made a too sweeping indictment of American culture. Elon, by the way, weighed in immediately after Trump.
Pretty soundly, by the way.
Pretty soundly. Well, Elon, this is a quote from Tropic Thunder. He's memeing. Remember Tropic Thunder with?
I'm so glad Elon has a
read the entire.
I don't know if we can do it.
personality.
Let's try.
We can.
Whether I agree with him all the
Okay,
time
wait
or
a
not,
second.
I'm
Let's do it.
so
This is
glad
what
he has
Elon
a personality,
put on.
because some
He said,
people
the
get
reason
so
I'm in
dry
America, along with
and
so many critical
disconnected.
people who built SpaceX, Tesla, and hundreds of other companies that made America strong, is because of H-1B. Go ahead, Charlie. You can quote Tropic Thunder.
You can take a big step back and have fun with yourself in the face.
Yes. So that's what he said. He's
Yo,
obviously feels
Elon
very
is a
strongly about
trip,
it.
man. But this is why I agree with a balanced approach. Like, I don't think we should totally get rid of the H-1B program. I definitely agree with having some means for top talent, not just in the United States, but around the world, to be attracted to come work in America. Like, there's things that you can gain, whether it be deeper or different perspective on how to do something. America's the melting pot for a reason. America wasn't just built by American-born citizens. America was built with a lot of influence coming from foreign cultures. So to completely get rid of the H-1B program would be idiotic, in my opinion. I mean, even from like a financial market perspective, we have the best capital markets in the world, which attracts talent from all over the world to either build businesses here in the United States, or add some type of value to the economy. So, getting rid of the H-1B program in its entirety is not the answer, in my opinion. But they're about to get into a cultural issue. I wonder where they're coming from, because I definitely agree that to some extent, the way in which Americans view academic excellence has something to do with the cultural, with a cultural aspect.
I want to get into the cultural stuff, but before that, remember the context about a lot of people were upset about the H-1B visas were that famous story of Disney. Do you guys remember that? Where Disney was going to lay off these workers. These were some sort of software workers. And then they said, listen, we're going to lay you off, and you will not get your severance unless you train the people that come in. These were
That's crazy.
workers
Nah,
on this type.
that should be unacceptable. That's unacceptable. Shame on you, Disney. That's crazy. what part of the game is that? Like, I'm not training my replacement, man. That you got the game messed up.
And so that
That's so
really,
crazy.
I mean, really upset a lot of Americans. And I believe that was the context around the conversation about abuses. And lots of people are weighing in on both sides of this. Obviously, Vivek and Elon very strongly on the side of getting more H-1B visas, saying that we won't be competitive. The cultural side, I think is fascinating, Will and Charlie. I guess Vivek saying he thinks that we need to our culture has a problem with, not prizing enough those who are valedictorians and academically, succeeding versus those who are the prom queens and the quarterbacks.
No, I definitely can agree with that. Like, even coming back to my years in high school, middle school, just the public school system in general. Like, it's a big popularity contest. A lot of political games get played within the public school system. And you don't really get congratulated like you should, in my opinion, for academic excellence. Hell, when I was in high school, people made it seem like AP US history was the hardest thing you'd ever take, or classes like physics, those types of things. You didn't really see a lot of kids go after those types of classes to actually challenge themselves. It was all about taking the easy route, right? And then even matriculating to college. It was very few people that I knew in college, whether we went to the same middle school, the same high school, and found ourselves going to the same college, or I met you on college campus. Most people were going for general degrees. It was very few people, American citizen wise, going for those more challenging degrees like pre-med or anything technical, engineering, anything like that. Very few and far between. Even within those classes, I could count on one hand possibly how many American students were in those classes compared to students from foreign descent, right? Like, again, going after the challenge instead of, looking for the easy route. And a lot of American students go for the easy route. They're just trying to get, they're 4 years in, graduate, and hope for the best after the fact, right? But to their point, academic excellence isn't congratulated as it should in American schools. But clearly overseas, it's a totally different mind frame, totally different mindset. And they come over here and, take advantage of certain opportunities that I don't see. In my experience, I didn't see a whole lot of American citizens, American-based citizens take the same advantages. So if we want to change something, we need to change the public school system. That's how you put America first, in my opinion.
They kind of wandered into, and neither Vivek nor Elon Musk, I think, appreciate sort of the nuances and just how what a sore spot this is for a lot of Americans. Because of course it wasn't just Disney. You could go through,
right.
In every industry going back 30 years and find examples of where American workers were forced to train their replacements.
Nah, that's crazy.
And unbolt their
I don't know how that
machinery
was
and send it to China. And one thing I have to say, though, that I think is interesting, Steve, I've known Steve Miller since back when he was on Capitol Hill working for
Sessions.
For Jeff Sessions, and he's always been one of the smartest people and most devoted to reforming immigration. And there are few people that I know who know more about this and care more about it, which of course is why Trump values him so much.
Right.
And if there's a guy that understands where that line is between valuing the best of the best, the cream of the crop from other places, and finding a way to use them in America, versus just looking for cheap labor,
right.
Because all of it is kind of geared towards
that's the biggest issue
labor.
In my opinion, is the cheap labor.
Charlie,
aspect.
nobody's against importing another Elon Musk.
Right.
We'll
No,
take
we need more of those.
Right.
We need more
However,
of those.
If there are Americans
more the
who can do
merrier.
the job, let's have that.
I'm Steve Ducey.
I'm Brian Kilmeade.
All right.
And I mean,
So that's that. But, to sum up my opinion, I definitely think we need to start back at the public school system where most American kids matriculate through. We don't celebrate, challenging curriculum. Our curriculum is so watered down, it's laughable, right? Like my parents talk about all the time how, they took certain classes that I never heard of when I was in school, even to this day. Um, and then if we really want to, put America first, we need to go back and, make that change, that culture change. Colleges, like I said, from my experience, my observation, a lot of people went for general degrees. Very few people that I knew, especially American born, were going for the more challenging degrees. And then even in those classes, even in my classes, um, could count on one hand how many American students were in there. So definitely agree with the culture needing to change. Uh, but I agree with a balanced approach. I don't agree with completely getting rid of the H-1B program because you want to attract talent from all over the world. That's what makes America great, in my opinion. But there should also be some other parameters put in place for H-1B visa recipients. Like I definitely think we should target a certain skill set to limit how much we give out H-1B visas as possible. Because there is, in its current form, ability to abuse it. But on the other side of that balance, Americans should be given those opportunities first. They should be set as the priority because we need the talent. Okay, I'm pretty sure there's some talent homegrown. Homegrown talent should always be looked at first. That's my opinion. So tell me what y'all think. Do you agree with the whole H-1B visa debate? Do you want to completely get rid of H-1B? Do you, where do you land on the America First side of things? Or do you think there needs to be a balanced approach? But anyway, yeah, tell me what you think in the comments. Be sure to like, share, subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.